Good afternoon. This is Barbara Kessler from Rawfully Tempting. How's everybody doing today? We're looking at a big bottle of water kefir. This is our first ferment. Water kefir is a fermented beverage and it's made from a SCOBY. SCOBY, which is short for a symbiotic chain of bacteria and yeast. It's a fermented beverage that's really good for your gut. It's very similar to kombucha, if you know that. Kombucha is brewed with a black tea. This is not. It's brewed with these lovely little living organisms, SCOBY, and sugar water. And the grains eat the sugar water, and you're left with this amazing beverage. So right now I'm going to show you how we bottle a second ferment. This was put in here. It was with water and sugar, and it sat for 48 hours. So now we take this lovely liquid, and we always use a nylon mesh strainer. We don't want to use a metal strainer because even though they say stainless steel, sometimes the rim has other metals mixed in, and that can be very harmful to the grains. So in this case, yeah, you want to go with plastic as opposed to some kind of mixed metal. So we're going to want to strain the grains through the mesh strainer using a funnel. Now we're going to bottle the liquid. And you don't want to fill it up all the way to the top. You want to leave a little breathing room. That's actually a little high, because these do develop gas as they ferment for another 24 hours, and it can build up a lot of pressure in the bottle. After you bottle this amazing liquid, you can add dried fruit, you can add herbs, you can add coffee beans, raisins, flavor extracts. So we continue to bottle the second ferment water kefir. I've switched to a larger bottle. I actually prefer, these are called swing top bottles, and they're much more airtight, and if you're looking for a really good fizz with your water kefir, you will get a better fizz than, let's say, these bottles. So I like to do a variety because some of my clients, some like it fizzier and some like it not so fizzy. Now we're getting close to the bottom of the bottle. Make sure we get all our grains out. And this is what our water kefir SCOBY look like. And they differ in size. Some people will say, oh, my water kefir grains are so big, and in this case, size does not matter. Sometimes smaller grains produce a really amazing kefir. Sometimes larger grains do. They'll be darker brown if you use, I mix my sugars, organic cane sugar with an organic sucanat, so it's a much darker liquid that I'm getting. So here's my grains. So we take the grains aside. Now for the next batch, you're going to do a first ferment again. You want to take some of the liquid from the previous ferment and pour it back into your bottle. And this you refer to as your starter liquid. So you're going to just put that aside. Okay, so now we're back, and water is a really important property in the fermentation process. If you have really good well water, awesome. If you have city water and you filter it yourself, it's a good idea to boil it first and let it cool room temperature. I've been using spring water, and my grains are doing really well. Now, this is what I choose to use, but use what you prefer. Do not use alkalized water, and do not use reverse osmosis water or distilled water. They're lacking the minerals that your grains need to grow healthy and strong. The formula for this is in my Water Kefir Handbook. But basically it's 1 tablespoon of your grains, 1 tablespoon of sugar to 1 cup of water. I'm sorry. So I'm obviously have modified that for my gallon jug. So now I have my new, this is for my first ferment, my new bottle, and this is my water, and this is my previous start liquid from the last ferment. And then I'm going to take 1 cup of, this is 16 tablespoons, which works with a gallon container, and this is a mixture of organic cane sugar and sucanat. I'm spilling all over. I'm going to put that in there, and then again, in this case, we want to use a plastic spoon to stir the sugar into the water. You don't have to heat your water or melt the sugar, just a good stir works fine. You stir this up really well. Now we're going to add 1 cup of grains. Now water kefir grains grow, so oftentimes when you go in to do your next ferment, you may have some extra. You'll see I've got some extra growth, which you can actually strain and freeze in a Ziploc bag or a container, and you can put that away in case your grains don't do well for whatever reason and you need to start another batch. You can actually revive the frozen grains. I don't suggest drying them. I haven't found that drying grains works very well. They're harder to activate. Basically, this is your first ferment. So you want to put the lid back on the Fido jar. I like Fido jars personally. They have a rubber gasket. They're airtight. There's a big controversy as to whether water kefir is anaerobic, which is airtight, or aerobic. Kombucha is definitely aerobic, and you use a mesh top. I have learned to do it with an airtight anaerobic container, and these grains have been around for over 5 years. So this is the way I teach it, and it works for me. So here's my first ferment. I put this under a towel in a cool, dry place, and I leave that for 48 hours. Then you come back and do your second ferment, which is what we started with, where you've bottled your liquid. And then what I like to do is I will add some organic raisins. After the liquid ferments, the grains pretty much eat up all the sugar, and you're left with a pretty sour tasting beverage. So I like to put some raisins in there, and that will add a little sweetness back into the kefir, and it also adds a little bit more fizz. I've added coffee beans, I've added fresh basil, ginger slices are delicious, lemon and lime juice are absolutely fabulous. And then you're left with, orange rind. I've been drying all of my orange and lemon rind and just keeping them in a bowl, and then I throw them into the kefir with the raisins. You have a really natural orange fizzy beverage. Cheers. It's thirst quenching. It's very probiotic rich. This is excellent for your gut, good for digestion. When you're starting out, we do suggest you start out slowly. You are putting a probiotic food into your gut, and if you're not used to it, some of the side effects could be a little nauseousness or a little diarrhea, upset stomach. Just take it slow. Start out with a couple of ounces a day, get your stomach used to it, and then you can drink 1 or 2 of these a day, easy, no problem. These will now get bottled and put under a towel in a cool, dry place for 24 hours, after which I burp them to let the gas out and refrigerate them. You can add flavors, extracts, or just drink them naturally. This is just an awesome, very inexpensive way to get a very probiotic-rich beverage into your gut. Please go to www.rawfullytempting.com. Click on the link below, and you can check out our Water Kefir Handbook. Our grains, if you order them from us, will come along with an ebook handbook, 12 pages, that walks you through the process step by step. It's really easy, and it's so worthwhile. And you don't have to do a big jug like this. You can start out, you get 4 tablespoons, which gives you 4 cups of liquid beverage. And then, as I said, your grains will grow, so you can continue to culture as much or as little as you like. I hope this has been informative. Please feel free to email me with any questions, and like our page, Rawfully Tempting, on Facebook, and we hope to hear from you soon.